What is up, people of the internet? We are live with Ray Howard of Vinyl Hero. How you doing, Ray?
I'm okay, you buddy.
Yeah, I'm doing just fine. Before we popped on here, you were telling me about a little video shoot that you had going on in your basement.
Yeah, well, we have we dropped our single for Sledgehammer today,
That is awesome
and
news.
that was awesome news. It was already a good starting the day. And we have the music video for it coming out on the 21st of April.
Wicked. We're going to talk more about that
And
in a little bit.
yeah, it looks really cool. But tomorrow's video shoot is for the mini movie, serves as like a promo prelude to the music video itself.
Wicked.
Uh, I like making fun of ourselves. I like it when we joke around. I like making characters. Last year when we did Vultures, we did like 3 mini videos before the video actually came out. And in that, like, we all played characters, and it was all something that was very innate to do. I'm a big fan of movies. I love watching movies. I've always liked writing stories. That's why I like writing songs. I get to do a bit of acting. I get to make, my two of my best friends like look like complete fools all the time, which is a lot of fun. And now I'm dragging more people into it, and it's even more fun. And this
Awesome.
time I actually wrote a foot, and for this I wrote a full script. I really dug into like my inner Kevin Smith for this. I have a radio host and a podcaster, Andre Haghalis, who's going to be like our star of the show. And just through some of the read throughs that we've had, he just makes me laugh. And I'm used to my drummer and my bass player regurgitating shit to me because, like, we're in a band, they have to sing the backup vocals, they read the lyrics, they know what's going on, we're producing the song.
Why don't you tell me
But to
about the
write
other
us,
guys in your band? I checked out your website, and
oh
your
yeah,
bio has you listed as a super foodie, an expert craftsman, and Batman.
oh god, I was gonna. The super foodie thing was more with you. Okay, you're in a band, you know this for a fact. You got to update the profiles and whatnot. So through the last year of the situation, which we will not speak of because there is literally no point of why to speak of it for. My wife's business took off significant, started expanding significantly in that respect, and I was been pretty much Mr. Mom, and I've been getting a kick out of it. I've just been a stay-at-home dad for the last little while we've been working on music and doing what we've been doing and sitting on this for a year and so on. So I had to up my cooking game because she's out working all day. I want to make sure like the food at least tastes good, like, or at least reel her in that it can smell good enough when she walks through the door, and then hit her with like, bam, it's delicious. The craftsman thing,
I
I
think
think
that
it's
one
more
was
in terms.
referring to Tiburce, if that's how I pronounce his name.
Yeah, yeah, he is that guy is like a DIY machine. He is absolutely like just wow. Wow. Like he sands and paints his own drums. Um he remodels and refurbishes furniture, and he brings it to the pad, and he just makes all our amplifiers and guitars sit on that, which sometimes it's convenient, sometimes I just wish my cab wasn't sitting on top of drawers. I'm just saying. Um but like our merch, if you've ever been to our shows and you've seen like our case merch displays and stuff like that, like he is the visual like conceptualist. He's very much a DIY guy. He is a Mr. Fix It. He is, if it can be built and done and fixed, I will do it, fix it, and make it. Like he is just masterful at that. And killer photographer. He really is a great photographer. Great sense of humor. And dude, he's just a sick drummer. Like,
Some master jack of all trades.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
He
how
re-
did
he
you
really
three
is.
come together?
Um, well, since we were on like the friendly giant, I was working at Moog, he walked in looking for a slide to play lap steel with because he has an affinity for lap steel. He loves blues and country and a lot of that like southern rock stuff a lot. Uh, and pretty much is part of the reason why he came to Canada. Is mostly the only reason he came to Canada was because he loved Monster Truck and he wanted to play drums in Montreal. He wanted to play drums in Canada. He just wanted to be here. So in between bands and projects and whatnot, he was playing lap steel. He walked into Moog. We started talking. At that point, Costa and I were looking for a drummer. It was about 2 weeks of talk. He showed up for rehearsal one point for his audition, which is not to say that we didn't try out other drummers. We tried out many drummers. We even had one temporarily. We did a show with him. It just didn't vibe.
Yeah, that's it.
There
Sometimes
was
things
our
just don't vibe.
yeah, no. And to complete like that whole circle about Tibbs, uh, he came in. We had a full album in the can. It was ready. We were like, yeah, we're gonna release a full length album. We were super super excited. He listened to it. And he's just like, guys, and if you've met him before, you know that wonderful, inimitatable accent. No matter how hard we all try, it just does not work. Um, he was just like, I love it. Songs are really cool. We can't release this.
Oh no.
And I went back home and I listened to everything and I put headphones on and I just sat there and I listened to it and I cried. So I cried pretty much. Um, but it was all well worth it because, it was, when they talk about the dark times of a band, that was, I guess, ours, right? Like, and to bring it to Costa, we've been together for forever in musician years, literally. He is my how can I put this? He is my Rachel Bolan to Snake Sabo Skid Row style, or he is my Duff McKagan to Slash. Like when it comes to vinyl hero, at least in this band, if there's no him, there's no me. It's like we are such a significant part of each other's sound. We've been in 5 bands together. Long before he was a publicist genius, a lot of people might not know that John Asher was a musician. He was a singer songwriter type. We were his backing band for a little while. Um, like we've done a lot. And when it came to right before Tibbs came in and our prior drummer leaving, right before he left, we were starting to get like that sense of it's getting good and getting better. And he left. It was a weird time. It was a weird time. It was very uncertain and uncertain to the point where do we still want to? And the week of that whole questioning, like, do we still want to? The gentle giant walked into the store and like just kind of saved like the soul of this band. So, it's fuck man, it's been like 8 years now. We're going on 8 years together.
Yeah, it's been a long time you guys have been
Almost a
together.
full 8 years. Yeah, and Costa and I even longer. Like I said, Costa and I have been together since like 2003. We've kicked it through so many bands and so many different projects and split up and tried different things, different members, different journeys. He was a drummer in like a death metal band for a while, and he's really good at it too, which is really like you look at him play bass and you would never believe that like play drums on a death metal thing. And it's like what? It's like yeah.
He's a wicked bass player. I remember
You
seeing you
can't.
guys play live, and that
He's
guy can jam.
he's a wicked bass player. He's an actual chef. He's an actual chef. That man's a marvel in the kitchen. I'm just waiting till like we can actually make the time and have the whole like cool. We don't have to look like stormtroopers to like hang out and shit.
Yeah.
Um, but when that can happen, like I'm looking forward to like a couple of episodes of like we've talked about it. I don't know how we're gonna make it happen when, but they will happen. Like, please. Vinyl Hero does like cooking where like it would just be like, 4 episodes once a week, like where we're just like cooking stuff, right? When I used to live on my own, Costa would come over, he'd like look in my fridge. There'd like literally be 3 things in there when I lived on my own, and he'd like just like whip up like the best like spaghetti I'd ever tasted in my life. So I think it'd just be fun. Everybody likes his cooking videos. I figure maybe I'll hold the bass and he can make pasta that episode, and then I'll make a soup and he can hold my guitar or something. Make it awkward for everybody. I think that's the key.
Of course.
But no matter what, you can't fight chemistry, and timing is everything. How you view it is everything. How you respect each other, especially the way you respect each other within the confines of it, is plays a big part in it as well. But more than anything, you can't fight chemistry. Like I've played with a lot of bass players. I've played with a lot of drummers. Like especially on the bar scene, I at this point I get to pick drummers these days, and the ones I wind up with, I don't have any complaints. They're all phenomenal drummers. A lot of my friends are some of the best musicians I've ever heard in my life, and I'm very lucky, and I'm very proud to say that too. Uh, but as far as the confines of whatever Vinyl Hero is, it's you can't fight that chemistry, and the three of us that's just where it is.
So the three of you come together, you fit like glue. Where does the name come into the picture?
We used to be four. I liked being four. Being four was fun, and then everybody else just leaves, and that's a different podcast altogether, brother. I'm sorry about that, but yes, the three of us go on.
So I was just saying, the three of you come together, you fit like glue. You're an awesome team. You
Yeah,
decide
yeah.
this is Final Hero. Where does the name come into play? How'd you guys come up with that? Is there an interesting meaning behind it? Was it just something you pulled out of a hat one day?
No, there was. I guess in like dog and musician years, it would be like a century ago or something. So a long time ago, we were trying to figure out what to call the name. We didn't have a band name. We didn't have anything. And I was hanging out with Costa and the drummer we had at the time, and they were hanging out with a friend of mine. This is the story I remember. Costa has a different version of it, but this is the one I remember because the guy, like, the friend in question, kept telling me the story. I was just like, that's right. And yes, Sean Miller. Yes, I know it's Sean. Yes, absolutely. In case he watches this, just so he gets the credit, he knows that I know this. I don't know which one Costa. I don't know which story Costa knows, but this is the one that I know. They were hanging out. I wasn't there. The next day, our drummer looked at me and he goes, "Yeah, so we were hanging out with Sean yesterday." I'm like, huh? I was like, "Well, you know how you wanted to call the album Vinyl Heroes?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, like, "Well, he's like, just drop the S and call it Vinyl Hero." And I was like, "Shit, that's really cool." And now the irony of it all is, as I get older, it's making a lot more sense. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much the name, man.
Nice. Vinyl's coming back too, so you got
Yeah.
that. How would you guys describe your sound? Like if somebody here's watching that hasn't heard of you guys yet, that wants to check you out.
In the terms of sound, I would just say like it's modern classic alternative rock. I
It's
like I
fucking
just say a
rock.
rock band these days. It's rock. It's rock. I just leave it at rock. Because these days, just like everybody's overtly sensitive about how it gets categorized, and it's like what are you so like you're a metal band? It's like, no man, we're vegan progressive grindcore or whatever. It's like, so you're like a fucking metal band, right? Like, just yes, you're a metal band. You know what I mean? like if you're gonna talk about like Stabbing Westward or whatever, right? Like as an example, it'd be like, it's like, are they a rock band? It's like, yeah, what kind of rock band? It's like, kind of an industrial rock band. I get it, 'cause I know what industrial rock is. If you put 65 things in front of it, it's just I just say rock. Just say rock. Like there's say metal. It's rock. I get alternative rock. I understand garage rock. I remember back in the day when I don't know if that makes me really old or just like things shifted too fast, like way too fast than they should have. But like I remember when being like an indie band meant like you had no representation or record label. Now it's like
It's become its own genre.
It's like 3/4 pants with no socks and like a jazz master, I guess. Like I have no idea, but I'm just like, and that's not a kick to your jazz master at all. Like I still want to ask about that guitar. That thing's fucking gorgeous, dude.
It's actually a Mustang.
It's a Mustang?
Yeah.
In your profile picture, the way it looks, like just off the angle, it looks like a jazz master.
Ah, okay. No, that's my Meteora.
Pardon me?
That's a Fender Meteora.
Okay, well, like you just got like a really good angle because you had me fooled. I thought it was a jazz master.
I got it right here if you want to take a look at it.
No, don't do that, because then everything is just gonna go to shit, and it's all gonna be about like, so what do you think of Fender these days?
No, it's a really cool guitar, actually.
Yeah, no, they are. They actually are. Now that I know what it is. It's like they are cool guitars. But where were we?
Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit
so
on me.
I just You okay now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So as far as genre, like it's alternative rock. It's just rock, man. There's some heavy parts, there's some softer parts, there's some country parts, there's some blues parts, there's some little bit of progressive rock parts. So have a conversation, like you said, with someone saying, it's like, well, how would you describe it? It's rock, man. Not every song is four on the floor, but like it's rock, bro. It's sometimes heavy, it's sometimes light, but it's rock. That's all it is.
Well, for anyone who wants to find out, you can go and check that out on their YouTube page,
Please go and check it out.
So I'm going to pop the links down here
Please
below.
go check it out.
Right down there, you can follow any one of those links. Check out their music. You guys have been around the block, as you were saying. You put out your self-titled EP back in 2014, I believe.
Oh man, it was like probably before that, and then that drummer and I, because we had a drummer named Nick Weibo, and that was where the beginning of the darker times were beginning, right? We had a good run. We had a keyboard player. We were a 4-piece, and then we became a 3-piece, and then things changed. And around 2000, oh, you're saying 2014? No, yeah. So no, around 2014 was where Tibbs joined in, and we were still trying to show off songs from. Sorry, man. Like I said, it's been a while. We were trying to show off songs that sorry about that. We had of our previous recordings, and again, it was coming off of that weird time. We had just got Tibbs. We were a 4-piece again, but we had a guitar player this time. I miss him. I miss every guitar player we had. If I could have the both of them at the same time, I mean, it would look like the weirdest Leonard Skinner show you'd ever see, but like it would just be like so monstrous. But anyway, different stories. We did our 7 days on a train. It wasn't self-titled. It was 7 days on a train in 2016.
Yeah.
We were aiming and hoping to have whatever's coming out since last year and now by the end of 2019, but schedules and, well, again, you know how the music business is. Hurry up and wait. So we went in at the end of 2019, in September 2019, to record Vultures and Sledgehammer. We've been sitting on them for about a year. Within that last span, we've recorded 3 more songs that are ready to be mixed. One of them will be the next single following all of this a little bit later, probably this summer.
You're answering my questions before I get to ask them.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. I am
It's
so
all
sorry.
good. It's all good. Let's take a step
I'm
back
so
though.
sorry.
Back to
Okay,
7 Days on a Train. You guys released the
Yeah.
song Keith Richards.
Yes.
That's a wicked song.
Yes. Thank you.
What's the story behind that?
It's a 2-parter. I read the book, Life. If you haven't read it, fantastic read. I don't know if this is going to come up later, but like Keith Richards is like one of my favorite guitar players of all time. Like I absolutely adore Keith Richards. And small spoiler, when you read the book, you come to realize that him being in Pirates of the Caribbean is actually typecasting, because in real life that man is a pirate. Like, you can read the book and go like, holy shit. So I was reading the book, and it's so good because there's all these amazing rock and roll stories that you dive into, and mostly makes you just go like, how, like, literally, how the hell are you still alive? That's the first question you're gonna have by the end of that book.
No, he's
But I got
infamous
to the
for
last.
it.
He's infamous for it, right? I got to the last chapter, and I got sad because I'm like, shit, he's still alive, man. There's gonna be more stories, right? And at the same time, they had the Maroon 5 song Moves Like Jagger going on. It's catchy. Yeah, but it was just like, all right. And so I was reading the book, and I put the book down at one point, and I heard that. My wife and I went to do something, probably groceries, whatever. We get back home, I had like a little amp, and I was sitting with one of my guitars, and I put on the octave thing, and it was literally the dorkiest thing ever. It was just like hitting an octave of like, oh, that's a minor chord, like, and the whole hanga 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 hanga. I was like, that's cool. And I was kind of fed up of moves like Jagger, and so like I was kind of like I started playing with that as a psyche, right? Like I started looking at like a therapy session of like somebody who's just like the Uber fan is just like, it's always about Mick, it's never about Keith, and why? And that's where I went in my head, and I don't know, it kind of morphed into like, I don't know, if I could ever sit down ever with Keith Richards. Hopefully he'd say some sort of weird ass scripture that would resemble those lyrics. And I'd be like, I did understand, It's I love the man, I love the myth, I adore the legend. The riffs are incredible. People can say what they want, man. Keith Richards is a wicked guitar player.
I'm
Those
not the
riffs,
biggest
especially
like Rolling Stones fan, but I'm not going to deny that he's an amazing guitar player.
It's so weird, especially at a time where everybody's like trying to be like super technical and super fast, super clean, super like, and like those guys are, all of them are incredible. And that's the thing, right? Like, great guitar players are a dime a dozen, and it's not a kick to anybody's gifts or anybody's talents. But I mean, like, if you go find me like 10 metal guitar players right now, it's like, watch these guys go. And it's just like, yeah, they're all fucking insane. But that's the point. They're metal guitar players. That's their gig. You know what I mean? Keith Richards is one of those guys who, even before they were super famous, like just when they were like, oh shit, it's the Rolling Stones, even when they were just the Rolling Stones, it was just, he didn't have to like, be like one of those rock guitar players. All he had to be was Keith Richards. And that's, like, just like Jimmy Page just had to be Jimmy Page. Slash and Eddie just had to be Slash and Eddie. Now it's like, well, if you're a metal guitar player, you got to do that. So like, you have an army of these guys that are all insane. head cases that can just wah, and it's awesome to watch, man. Those guys are like insane. Somebody suggested I check out Jason Richardson. I like my jaw fell down. I was like, shit, like it's like his arm has epilepsy or something. It's incredible what he does. It's insane, dude. It's insane. Like, it was incredible. I was like, wow.
I've never heard of him. I'm gonna have to go check him out.
I just found out about 2 days ago, so like I was just like, holy crap. It's, you know, so yeah, man. Keith, and then especially when Keith started, and like when you read the book, he gives you like this whole instructional thing, like if you're not playing, he goes like into about like, you know, 3 pages worth of like, if you're not playing my songs or any of these songs in the tunings that like I wrote them in, I don't care how close you get, you're not doing it right. It's like a personal memo to you that if you're going to go digging on how to do this, this is how you do it. And I think that is so significant because there is something about the Keith swing. It's not about the technique. It's not about the shredding. It's not about like, oh my God, that note is so clean and well compressed. And it's so, nah, man. All he had to do was be Keith Richards. And he never disappoints.
What was the book called again?
Life.
I'm gonna have to dig into that. Got
some. Oh, dude, it's like 550 pages of absolute beauty. Like even the first 2 chapters gives you like a read through in like Keithanese, and like once you understand that, you're good throughout the rest of the book, man. It's awesome.
Nice. Moving on to your Vultures video that you were talking about, you put out these teaser videos for that, and I thought they were just awesome, especially the fact that they were kind of explaining some of like the language that you were using throughout the song, because a lot of it was kind of like double entendres based around like vulture related words.
Well, Vultures, as far as a song, is my political, you know what I mean? And I know we're not supposed to talk politics, so like, you know, just give me a second. But it's no, it's my political, like, you know, like my political stance song. It's my whole, you know, I was watching what was going on in the world. It's, you know, as much as like what has happened in the last year has been like, oh no, the seclusion, the lockdown, we're all being in the, it's like, yeah, we were letting our phones do that to us long before the virus showed up. So it's just like, give me a break, you know?
I agree 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So Vultures ended up being like my political standpoint, and we were writing the music, and I had the riffs, the parts, and we were putting the arrangements all together. And yes, we usually end up writing the music before the lyrics come together. It's a rarity. I'll show up. It's like, I got everything, guys. I wish I did. It would make the process so much quicker. But anyway, so I don't want to flat out say, you politicians, you know, so, you know, in a song and just like get angry about it. Like I like making the innuendos or the comparisons, or use something else. It's like, you know, all right, well, you got like a whole bunch of guys just sitting around congregating, just pecking at shit. Just like, you know, like, well, I'm going to peck at you and peck at this and pick at this, and pick at that, and whatnot. It's like, what creature does that? And I think, you know, and I'm very cinematic. I have a very photogenic memory. It's like I can watch a movie once, and if it stuck with me and I loved it enough, I'll be quoting like the most intense lines in whatever accent that guy used, just because I can. Useless information and adapting to a movie, that's what I can do. I think my kids were watching like a Bugs Bunny thing or something. It was like one of the episodes where there's like one of those cartoons where they actually had vultures. All right, whatever. And that weekend, it was just a whole bunch of things that were just like pecking at me, right? I'm a big fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I just happened to be watching one episode, and like the Vulture showed up, and he's just like my favorite character on that show. I love the Vulture. Dean Winters is just awesome on that show. And then that week, I was digging up CDs. Yes, I still listen to CDs, and I threw one on my laptop, and it happened to be them Crooked Vultures. So like, light bulbs were just going off. So I was just like, I'm going to call the song Vultures. I'm like, I know nothing about birds. I know nothing about birds. So I went and looked up like, like bird terms, especially about vultures, and like, what their congregation is called and what it's called when they feed and what it's called when they're in flight, which is like, like the like how like a murder of crows is like a grouping of crows and stuff like that, right? So I did about, I don't know, about a day's worth of research on Wikipedia and the internet, and Googled shit, and just like went looking about like bird terms and stuff. I'm like, okay, and, like I started highlighting this and highlighting that, and like, oh, that's a cool term and whatever. And I really like dug writing the lyrics of that song, and I love that song. That song means a lot to me. All my songs mean a lot to me, but I mean, Vultures is the one I finally like landed on like syndicated radio stations. I don't care how short-lived that rotation was. I did it, damn it, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, that's got to be the best feeling in the world.
It was the best feeling in the world, and strictly more than the best feeling in the world, just because it was that song that got there. It's like, that's heavy to be like on a on just a rock radio station. So like, bless those radio stations and like show them, like, thank you, show like it meant a lot. Man,
I heard your song on Shom. I didn't know that it was going to play. I hadn't heard it from you. I hadn't seen you post anything, and I was just driving one day, and I heard it came on, and I was just like, I was so happy for you guys. I was like, this is fucking great.
We found out like a day and a half late. Like, we were just like, it's like, you guys were playing on Shom, right? We're like, huh? Like, yeah, you're like the big shiny new song of the week. Okay, what? Like, it was just, what happened? What? So yeah, so like, like it was great, and it's a banger, man. It's a heavy song to be like on a regular radio station. So bless those guys for playing it, and also in Kamloops, like thank you so much. Like, it was great, meant a lot. So I didn't, and the opening line is the kettle lands, and I didn't want people to be like, well, why the hell would somebody throw like a pot of water? And these days, I love giving people the benefit of the doubt, but like it almost seems like you almost have to like have a high lit sign with a picture and directions all wrapped into one, so they're like, oh. And also I wanted to have some fun, and I came up with the idea. My drummer's like, all right, cool, you direct it. I'm like, you got it. I was scared because I really didn't want to screw it up, and I really wanted it to be funny, so I came up with those characters, and it was really to like just like, yeah, show off like the three words that can resemble something else that you would think of, but really towards what it was directed towards as far as the vulture. And then like, using that in the comparison of knowing that, yeah, politician. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I noticed there was a color scheme to that video as well. You guys were all wearing red. All of your instruments were red as well. Did that come about like planned? Like because you guys all just happened to own red instruments, or did you plan that out and then go and rent all the red instruments?
Okay. Side note, the bass isn't ours. It actually belongs to our old guitar player, but he was just like, yeah, man, here, go for it, take it. But yeah, Tibbs, I was telling you, like, Tibbs is like a master DIY guy, right? So like that drum set that he's using used to be like a champagne sparkle, which is a pink sparkle. And he redid it in that red. I've had that red Ernie Ball guitar for about 10, 11 years now, and I just love the hell out of it. But also we kind of, I don't know if we were doing it yet when we played together. I'm trying to remember what venue we actually played together. That's been the hardest thing.
I believe it was Salarosa.
I wanted to say Salarosa or the other one on the same.
The other one. I think it was the other one.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was before we were even Radium Moon. I think we were still playing as Apparatus back then.
Yes.
That was way back in the day.
Yeah. So like that was before we adopted like the uniforms, right? And a little while ago, you've seen us like we bring like our stage props or like TVs and stuff. So we bring those. We started wearing like, red shirts or like a red bandana on the black, just something to make it like, look like we know what we're doing or something, or like, like not be the Beatles or anything, but just something that, it's just like, hey, cool, the same guys wearing same dirty ass t-shirts or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what goes on anymore. I haven't played a show in a year. I miss it. At this point, I'll wear a paper bag if people want me to.
Yeah, we all miss it. I can't wait to get back
Yep.
on the stage. Can't wait to see
Oh
you guys
man,
get
it's
back
like
on the stage.
I can't wait to see everyone get back on stage, man. You have no idea. And that's the thing. There's so much. Like, look, I love my Foo Fighters. I love my Guns N' Roses, my Queens of Stone. I love all those bands. I love them all, man. I love them. But just in this city alone, just in Montreal, and even across Ontario, I got a bunch of friends that are in great bands. Man, this hit everybody. So as much as I'm dying to like be like, dude, I really want to see the Foo Fighters again, or I really want to go and see like Slash rip it up for 3 hours. I don't care with which band. At this point, he could be playing a banjo in a bar, and I'll go watch him play. Um, but as even especially, I'll narrow it down to Montreal. There's so much sleeping music that like all of my friends, peers, colleagues, frenemies, used to be friends, used to be whatever, people I know, people I knew. Dude, there's so much talent that is like just sleeping in Montreal. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean it like it's just like we can't do anything past like, the live stream show. And
Yeah.
in travesty. It's an
That's
absolute
why I started
travesty.
doing this. I couldn't sit
No,
around not
yeah,
doing anything anymore, and I felt like this was such a great platform, not just for
yeah,
myself to actually do something, but hey, let's like get some other musicians in here who can at
yeah,
least talk about
yeah,
their stuff and like
yeah.
try and spread some of their stuff around online. Like,
Well, I was starting to like, kind of like just ha so much that like anytime I was practicing guitar or whatever, like I'd be sitting around working on riffs or just keeping the hands going, right? Um, just because I missed like, doing the bar circuit so much, I would watch How I Met Your Mother. Just because like 80% of that show happens in a bar. So like that was as close as I could get. And like I'm still waiting to find like a fucking thing of Cheers so I can be like, oh, it's like always in a bar. Yeah. Like I just kind of miss it. I miss having a crowd. That's why I started doing the Monday night, the every second Monday night, reefer not the Rona kind of deal.
yeah, I
And
love the title.
I know, it's just because anytime anybody sees me coughing, it's like, are you? It's like, no, it's not. It's not like, it's like, oh. So
I know. It's every time I get a little cough here, I mute my mic. Speaking of live shows,
yeah,
what was
yeah,
it
man.
like to play a live show during the pandemic? You guys played last September at Piranha Bar.
We played last September at Piranha Bar. That went significantly well,
It did. You guys
and it was
sold out.
uh. Oh, wait, there was some help, man. Red Fox. Like I gotta give it to Red Fox. They were an out of town band, and I mean, like they had a good like 2 3 hour, about a good 2.5 hour drive during a pandemic, and like they still managed to like pull in fans locally to come see that show. So like they had a good part in that selling. They had a good helping hand in that selling out of that show. But it was overwhelming, and what was even more overwhelming outside of the selling out was like the people that showed up, because other than my usual, like my wife and our close friends that do come out for shows or whatnot, like there was a lot of surprises of people that showed up that day, and I was just like, wow. I had a blast playing. It was weird with all the plastic panels, but I gotta hand it to Piranha Bar. They they kind of handled that excessively well. Like everything was great. Everything was disinfected between sets. I brought my own. We all brought our own microphones. Like it was. I mean, I'd bring my own microphone outside of a pandemic too. It's not like that. Like anything should change. It's like and there was nothing more other than the plastic panels. There was nothing more overtly like extra sanitary that shouldn't be already implied when performances are going on in shows. You know what I mean? And I mean, like, it's really like those small steps that keep everything okay. And everybody seems to think it's like, well, it's like, no, it's really like the small shit, and like it works. And it really did, because everything went off without a hitch. Red Fox was a 5-piece, so that was awkward because they had 2 people on one side and the singer in the middle with the drummer, and then one person on his own. But like, it was a great show. They were a great band. It was a great crowd. People were happy to be out. People were happy to be at a bar. People were just happy to be able to a place where they could buy alcohol.
That's it.
So man, you know what? It felt really good. It felt really good to say that it was a sold out show. It was good. It was great. I mean, it was a show.
You have
You
any
got a
other
job to do.
you got any other great show stories? Crazy show stories, bad show stories?
Uh, uh, crazy show stories. Crazy show stories. There's not so much crazy show stories. Fun one. Long time ago, we were actually playing Piranha Bar. I have Side note, we have played Piranha Bar in every version of its design.
Nice.
So like the first time when it was like, like that like tiny stage like up against like the front window,
Yep.
to like where it was like where the cash machines used to be, and then it was over up against beside the staircase, and then it was facing the staircase. I don't remember what it looks like now. But anyway, so one of the iterations of Piranha Bar, we're playing there, and we were 3-piece, and our drummer that night could not make it. This is before Tibbs. So we had Simon McKay from The Agonist fill in.
Nice.
Simon had about 2 jams with us. Like he pulled it together. He missed a couple cues. It's not his band. He doesn't. Not sure. What was really cool was we're playing our first song. First song. We're playing the first song. We're playing the first song. We're ripping into it. It's going well. First song's going really well. We get to the first chorus. Costa hits something on his pedal board. Goes to hit that big low note. Smacks it just to get the big boom going on. The power shuts off. I was like, that's cool. That's really cool. So it takes all of about like 2 minutes. Everybody's like, power's back on. Ready? Cool. We just picked up from the second verse and went on from there. So
nice. It's always fun when
that
those
was
fun accidents happen.
Yeah, that's why I think that's like one of my favorite memories overall of like playing. That was just funny. And then there's just the fun stuff that happens when you're playing out of town, just like the jokes, the camaraderie, the time I mean, like I love the 2 guys I'm in a band with. When we were 4-piece and we were on the road together, I love it when we were 4-piece and we're on the road together. When we toured as 3-piece with our manager, I love those times too. When it's just the 3 of us, I love that time too. I love those 2 guys. They got to put up with a lot of my shit. I got to put up with a lot of their shit. It's just the way it is. If you don't understand that being in a band, especially if you want to keep it together, is like a relationship that you do care about. It really is give and take, man. And like,
That is, a
I
band
love
is a
those guys.
family.
Band is a family, man. I love those guys. Um, my favorite one is, especially when we're playing out of town. When we play Oshawa, it happens every time we play in Oshawa. I think it happened in Peterborough. We'll be playing. We'll finish the set. We'll be outside having a smoke or whatever. Somebody who's halfway between past tipsy and semi. We're almost plastered. We'll go up to Tibbs and be like, "Yeah, man, you're a really good singer." And then his accent, "Oh, thank you," and then they'll come up to me and be like, "Dude, you're a great drummer, you know that?" And I'm like, "When did you ever see me play drums?" They'll confuse us. They don't realize there's like almost a foot difference between us, but they confuse us half the time. I find like mostly in Oshawa, but like it happens frequently. But every time we played Oshawa, we walk out of the venue just for like a break, get some air between sets, whatever, between bands. Everybody's like, uses us. I find it hilarious.
They think all of us Quebecers look the same.
Oh man, longest. This is long time ago. Like we can almost call it like First Testament days. We played in the place called Beaton, Ontario. It was me and Costa. We had a keyboard player. We had an old drummer, Nick, playing Beaton, Ontario, and it's at like the ass end of like the 401, and then it turns into like the 400. And you drive 50 clicks into like this little town. There was just like dirt, 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 and then a platform with like a telephone, like a like a telephone machine and a Coke machine, and then it goes on for like another few clicks of like just dirt, and then you get like this town where if you walk around for 20 minutes, like you've seen the whole town. Not joking. There was kids playing in a bar. They like there's like 10-year-olds playing pool and like Pac-Man and stuff. I was like, went to the barman. I'm like, there's children there. It's like, yeah, but they don't drink. Don't worry. I'm like, okay. So we got there and we had no idea. Like we saw the names of the bands. We were like, okay, whatever. We're the second band playing out of 4. We're like, all right, whatever. So we get there. We were the only band there that was under the age of 40. And then they started messing, and then like everybody started giving us attitude, right? So like we were maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Barrie, Ontario at that point. Like that's how far this place was. And all I remember is like some guy coming up to us like, "Oh, you're the boys from Quebec, eh?" Oh, from Montreal. Say Montreal. It's like, well, your license plate says Quebec, and it's like they were just giving so much attitude. And like we started unloading our gear, and they started seeing like, oh, it's like, wait, you guys aren't like just like little kids or something. It's like, what's making you change your mind? It's like, well, you bring a whole bunch of Gibson guitars and DW drums and stuff. It's like, yeah, dude, we came here to play. And like, oh, and then about like 10 minutes after we dumped our gear in the venue or whatever, bass player goes out, grabs a pitcher of beer, he like pours 2 cups. He's like, all right, please tell me, what do you have against Montreal? Because like I can cook and I can drink. Talk. And from that moment on, like nobody gave us any problem, but it was just like kind of that drive in on the dirt road kind of went like, this is how they start like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Exactly.
Like,
and they were never seen again.
It's like, I just want to play my guitars, man. Come on. So.
I want to talk about your playing style a little bit. You mentioned you're a huge fan of Keith Richards. Some of the other greats that come to mind when I think about you is like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Mark Knopfler, both of which just have these amazing lead guitar skills, but also lead vocal skills. And you, my friend, are the best of both worlds.
Okay, you threw me for a whirlwind with like all of those, like especially with the Stevie and the Mark. No, I didn't see the Mark Knopfler thing coming at all, but thank you.
Not that you have that style that you play like them.
No,
I mean the greats that can play lead guitar, those amazing lead licks while actually singing
your
good.
Your sentence alone is giving me like a semi. Okay, like you gotta stop. My wife's gonna get mad at me. Thank you. No, dude, thank you. That's very humbling, man. Thank you so much. I don't know where the lead style came from because as an artist, you know this better than anybody. I am as a musician, especially as a guitar player. I am super, 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 super fucking insecure about my abilities and my prowess as a guitar player. I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. It's like no, dude. Like, and and it's weird because all the guys that I hung out with while I was growing up, I'm talking to you, Jack, who like could fucking give Steve Vai a run for his money. Is just like, I suck, dude. I need to practice. And you're like, you're the best guitar player I've ever seen on the planet. Like, what the hell? So I'm always trying to like better what I do. I'm always trying to like try. I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. But as far as a style on the lead thing, I don't know. I spent a lot of time thinking I was better at it than I was, and then I realized after I realized that was wrong, I spent a lot of time realizing that maybe I gotta work on stuff. And for a long time now, I just kind of sit in this little bubble where like I'm content with what I can do, and I'm not content with what I can't. I'm not content about what I can't do, and I try and find a happy space between that and try and think of something else. What I mean, I'm always trying to figure, especially when it comes to guitar, solo. I'm always trying to find that certain place where just make your point and get out. But I want it to be like, like there's something behind it. There's something like, like pertinent. There's something like, ooh,
That's it. Yeah.
Like what landed on Vultures ended up being not an off the cuff solo, but it was not the one intended. All the shows that we had played Vultures for and how I'd practice it and everything had like this fucking left field. Like it was somewhere so far off from what you got on the track now. Unfortunately, I really don't remember how to play it. But it was really cool and it was different and it was kind of weird, and I guess that's why and it really didn't sit. Like even my wife took the band side to like, sweetie, I'm sorry, like it's cool, but it's like, so I ended up kind of going through some the old demos with my drummer, and like we found something. I was like, all right, I can work off that, whatever. That's what it ended up being. But as far as the lead style, like I spent so much time trying to emulate, and it's like honest confession moment. Like we all do. I spent a lot of time like just trying to be like all of my guitar players that are like in my Rolodex of like, I took this from that guy, I took this from that guy, I took this from that guy, I took this from that guy. And as much as people say it's like, oh, my top 5 guitar players, like, dude, every guitar player took something from so many guitar players.
Of
Like you can
course,
tell
that's
me,
how
like,
all music is
but
made. Pretty
that's
much,
it.
it's all
It's like
inspired
you
by
could
something before them, right? So
exactly, but like you could be like, you could tell me like you have like your top 3 guitar players, but then it's like, well, I stole that pedal idea from the Edge, and then I took like that delay function from like what the dude Nine Inch Nails done, and like so like it's not just those 3 guys. There's like something else that like there's like so many things that incorporate what ended up flying into like what makes you sound that way, and like when I look at terms of like I said, like making a solo, making a point, like guys like Jerry Cantrell, like to me Jerry Cantrell has like the ultimate guitar tone. Like no disrespect to anybody, and I love guitar tones of like many guitar players, but there's just something about you listen to Them Bones and like you just hear the mud, you hear the hate out of the tubes, right? Like they're like you hear the tubes just going like, dude, you've been at this for 6 hours. I can't take this anymore. The chassis is gonna melt, bro. You know what I mean? And such an like if we were aiming at where it goes, it's like I said, the Stevie and the Mark Knopfler thing is just so endearing. And thank you so much as far as like just even putting me in that ability. It's thank you very much. But yeah, Jerry Cantrell was one of them. Slash is just Slash in comparison to how I feel about Slash. Slash is my favorite old blanket. You know what I mean? Like Slash is like that stuffy, like I'll never fucking get rid of. Like he's just like, it's just like, what do I do? Like and like you just like listen, like I'll listen to Snake Pit and be like, oh right, he's just that 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 blanket of like that's where it is. Ian Thornley from Big Wreck.
another great Canadian band.
Oh God, monstrous. What a, like he's a vicious player. Like there's you know as a musician and as a songwriter, as a singer, as a guy in a band who work like I said, I love working with guys in my band. There's I think there's something that there's something innate, and especially as guitar players, right? Because we're all saps. We all started playing guitar because we want to get the girls. That's what it's all about. We have to write the love song and get it. It's like, um, but there's just something there's just something about writing a song that trying to appease everybody, right? Because you want everybody to listen. You want everybody to be like, oh yeah, man. And it was like you're always like acceptable by musician standards. Like it's a badass riff and it sounds like this. And it sounds like yeah. And then but I want it radio friendly without selling out. And you want it without all these things that make you feel like it shouldn't be that way. And it really should. If you're do it anyway and do it with a smile on your face. And to me, Ian Thornley is one of those guys that cracked the code. Like Albatross, right? I think that's their biggest hit now or whatever. Albatross is still their biggest hit. Dude's rocking a slide guitar solo on a 4-minute pop song that's everywhere. That is the trick.
I find it crazy how they were around forever, and then they just kind of disappeared for 10 years, dude. And then they come back with Albatross, and they're just they went from here to here and just kept going.
No, man, look. Those first 2 albums, I love both those first 2 albums. To this day, The Pleasure and the Greed is still my favorite one of all of them, out of all of them. It is so beautifully arrogant in the playing and in the writing. It's astonishing, dude. It's just oh, I devour it, dude. I can listen to that record all day. It's awesome. But after that, the weird part is I discovered him when he was doing the Thornley thing, right? During his non-Big Wreck days. And both those records are really good. The first one sounds more modern, more very modern drop-tuned rock. The other one he called Coming Again, the other one he did, Tiny Pictures, could have been stamped Big Wreck. That's how close to the rest of that was the stepping stone to Albatross. If you listen to Tiny Pictures and you listen to Albatross right after, it's oh, okay, yeah, okay. It was just the stepping stone towards it. But dude, when Albatross came out, that record is so ear friendly and there's it's just a happy listen. You can sit there and just play that record that album all day and it's just yeah, man.
All right. Let's talk about Sledgehammer.
All right.
So you guys got the new single that dropped today.
Yeah.
Where can people find that?
Everywhere.
You heard the man. Check all those links down there.
All the links. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. Apple. I'm pretty sure Apple. Everywhere. Anywhere you stream your music, you can find it there. We're everywhere. You can find us. You can find us on our .com. If anybody ever wants to know anything or book a private show or something, I'll pull a Tina Turner. I swear to God. You can hit us up on our. You can. Thank you, Nick. You can hit us up on our .com. You can hit us up on our Facebook, on our Instagram. You can find us at all those places. We're always happy to answer any questions.
What made you want to take on such an epic song?
Believe it or not, that's a 10-year-old battle, dude. I've been wanting to go to war with that song forever. There's something so, especially as a guitar player, right? Thanks, man. Especially as a guitar player, and I love drop tunings, and I play with a lot of drop tunings, Bolivian flats, D sharps, and all that stuff. It's great. I really love that song from Peter Gabriel, man. I just love Peter Gabriel in general, but
me too. He's one of my top 5.
There's just something about him, right? It's great. But but there's something about Sledgehammer that is so innately heavy and aggressive about it. And I know there's guitar in there. There is guitar in there, but it's like you have like, you know, drums, bass, 60 layers of keyboard, 60 layers of synthesizer, the vocals, and then guitar. Like it's there, but it's super clean. And it's like super country and super clickety 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 and chicken picking. And it's cool because it's there. I don't have six, like 3 keyboard players and 4 backup singers. A horn section. Nor do I know how to synthesize that at all because I just give me sticks, I'll hit stuff. Give me strings, I play stuff. That's about as far as it goes. My thing was always like, all right, like how do I turn this into a rock song? Like how do I make this like I just want to make it rock. I just want to rock. So this has been like an ongoing battle for about a good like 10 years. And when Tibbs came in and we dug it out to start playing it with him because for a while we hadn't been playing it. We dug it out with him and we morphed it. We had even recorded it and did a video for it like a while ago that I'm pretty sure will never see the light of day unless someone's like trying to extort us at one point, if ever. What are you gonna do? Ask for my box of strings? You bastards, I need those. Anyway, but it just, there's just something about it that didn't jive. It didn't sound good. And, like whatever, it just didn't happen. That version just didn't happen. So we've logged a lot of road time on it. We've logged a lot of shows on it, a lot of smoky and angering rehearsals with that song. That's what you're hearing. That is like 10 years of just like, how do we make it work? How do I sing it? How do I maintain me and get it to sound respectfully enough? Like it's still like Sledgehammer, but like it's just not. It's different, but it's not. It's the same song, but it's us. It's like all the stuff that like every artist goes through, like beating his head up against the wall. And especially like an undertaking like that, I'm at a point where how do you take an undertaking like that? I don't know, man. Look, I've been dreaming big. I'm still working for the dream, and I don't know if it'll ever come true, but at least if I'm going to aim to hit something, I'll fucking aim for the biggest thing I can find. You know what I mean?
Well, I, for one, cannot wait to go listen to it. I'm going to check that out right after this.
Dude, no, man. I really hope everybody likes it.
I was waiting all day. I don't subscribe to any of the streaming services. Like, I'm not subscribed to Spotify or Amazon or any of that jazz just because why should I? Fuck them. So I was waiting on YouTube and I kept going back to your YouTube page and checking it out, but it wasn't popping up. So anyone who does go over to YouTube to find it, be sure to type in Vinyl Hero Sledgehammer.
Yeah. Yeah, you actually have to like do like the whole like words and stuff. It's a pain. It is a pain. I understand it. I don't like it, but it is what it is for now. But April 21st, the video comes out. That's gonna be cool. Throughout April up until the release, there's gonna be like little tidbits of our, like we did for Vultures.
Nice.
But not. I took a different approach on this one. There's still going to be like there's going to be actually more footage before you get to the music video. So there's going to be like 3 like semi found footage style PTSD moments with the 3 of us just like shaking our heads, face palming. Like there's going to be this 3.5 minute mini movie that I really took all like my inner Kevin Smith and my inner Quentin Tarantino and tried to make like something as funny as I could and contemporary, especially in the times we live in with podcasts and how things how things go in like the music industry, and especially during these times, especially with lockdown and COVID, whatever. And our lead for the show for this movie, he's just funny. Like I'm doing a read through with him, and I actually have to stop myself because it just makes me laugh so much. that I'm just like, I hope everybody else thinks it's as funny as I do. I hope they laugh as much as I did at it. I'm looking forward to shooting it. I'm looking forward to showing it to people. And then that video itself, the best way I can describe it is it looks like half Sin City and half the Wonder Years.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's we really wanted to make it like semi like looking super cool and semi like home movie togetherness kind of thing in advance, just because we're not going to get to talk next month like this. Maybe, I don't know, but I'll lay it out for you now, and I know we got to go and stuff, so sorry.
I got some extra time tonight. I'm not rushed.
Oh yeah, cool, awesome. All right, cool. Well, if you're willing to listen, I'm still willing to not shut up. So
I still got a ton of questions for you. Well, not a ton, but a
cool.
couple.
Okay, so all right, awesome. So one of my members in the band, I'm not going to say who did what, so we're just going to leave it that way. One of the members in the band, or one half of the rhythm section, had an idea to make it look like we'd be playing inside of a heart. And I know I'm going to eat shit for telling people this, but it's not, you can even imagine it. It just looks cool. Anyway, so you wanted to make it look like, we're inside of a heart and whatnot. Just be like, we'd be the pumping of it. Also, we did miss the boat on the whole, like, doing the whole, like, hey, we're in lockdown jams, let's play a song together. Wasn't our thing. Not everybody had the right equipment at home or the time to go to the space for it. For a little while, it was closed. Like, just awkward for us. So, like, it just didn't give that way. We ran a bunch of limited T-shirts for the sold out show we did. We had a bunch left over, so we asked a whole bunch of friends and peers to be part of it. And
cool.
the T-shirt itself, it was like a tank top. The T-shirt, it had a heart on it itself. So we kind of played with the aspect of, like, the heart and the zoom out of the heart, and then we get like a small clip of our friend, whoever it was at the time. Grateful to those friends because they were willing to, like, let us be like, dude, like, we're coming in masked up. I need 10 seconds. Just let me film you. And I'm like, I'm out the door, a lot of them were great. The ones that did and that said yes, like, they were gracious enough to let us do it. And so that's the part where, like, we just integrated, like, the home movie thing in with, like, this cool semi animated nut house. It looks really cool. Like, it just looks cool. That's all I gotta say. And
we will see it when it drops.
Oh, I know you will.
What was that date again?
April 21st.
April 21st. Don't forget that date, guys. We talked about your guitar skills and singing skills before. Yeah. If you had to give up either your vocal talents or your guitar talents, which one would you choose?
I don't know, man.
It's a really hard question.
That's a hard one. Well, see, man, that's like it cancels itself out, right? Because look, I always looked at it this way. I'll always be more of a Keith Richards than I am a Mick Jagger. Like if you've ever seen me sing without a guitar, that is the most awkward thing you will ever see in your life. I have no idea what to do. I am not Steven Tyler. Fuck, man. I wish I had Steven Tyler's dance moves. I'd be like on fire, bro. I could do an Axel at karaoke, but then it just gets awkward when it's like a Maroon 5 song. So, it took me a while. It was even a harder road to be a good singer, dude. That's I don't know. I'd probably give up the singing part, because then, people could finally shut me up.
It really is such a tough choice, but I agree with you. I would give up the singing too. I don't.
See, even you want to shut me up. See,
I don't have half the skills that you do at vocals, though. I'm not the world's best singer, and that's why I have an alternate singer in my band. So,
you know what, man? It's the singing. The singing part of it is that, like, look, to an extent, and truthfully, I mean, like, think about a lot of the songs you've heard in your lifetime that have been, you know,
Ray's freezing up on us. Are you there, Ray?
no. Okay, yeah, I'm
I
there.
got you. Sorry, what
All
were
right.
you saying?
Um, but I mean, like, a lot of the times it's just like it's the song that wins. It's not necessarily the voice. So, I mean, like, in complexity, everybody can sing. With that said, though, it's an exercise, man. Like, even I gotta admit, like, I'm out of shape unless it's like Saturday night and Sunday, and most of Monday afternoon is gonna be like spent like warming up for my Monday reefer, not the Rona thing. So, just because I haven't been practicing my singing for like the last 3-4 days, right? So it's just it's a question of keeping into shape, and I'm always working to expand my range. I'm always trying to work, like, trying to be like, dude, if I could pull off singing like Axl Rose for like 2 hours without feeling like I'm about to die, then like I've accomplished something in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can do it in short bursts, but it hurts like hell. And I'm even like learning the technique on how to do it. It's like, no, it hurts. It's just But dude,
I
like,
feel like I'll reach my peak when I can hit the notes in Seal's Kiss from a Rose. So if you get there before me, let me know.
I can hit like one of them, but don't ask me to do it for the second chorus. That's about it. It's the second chorus that'll kill you.
Yeah. If you had one album that you could listen to, sorry, if you had one album that you had to listen to for the rest of your life, I'm talking you're stuck on a desert island and this is the only album that washed up on shore. If you had a choice, what would it be?
Oh shit.
I think we broke him, guys.
Oh man, that's not fair. Oof. It's oh man. Yeah, he broke my brain. Like, I'm just like, oh no. I think it would have to. I don't know. It'd probably be a toss up between Appetite for Destruction or Super Unknown from Soundgarden. One of those two.
Damn.
If either or would just like show, like, if I was stuck on a desert island, either or of those albums would like show up and be like, we're good.
I think I
Like,
could
either
live
way.
with Super Unknown for the rest of my life.
So, it's such a good album. It's so good.
It really
Oh,
is.
oh, it's
Anything,
so good.
anything by Soundgarden is great. They did not put out a single bad piece of material.
There's not a bad piece of material out of that band. It's all, yeah. Oh, so, but yeah, if Super Unknown or Appetite for Destruction, whatever, like,
Nice.
or
All
actually,
right.
if I had, I do have to throw in, you know what, just for the vocals, Dogman by King's X.
I'm sorry, Dogman.
By King's X.
King's X.
That,
I'm not familiar with that group.
oh, just go listen to that album. Go listen to that album and you'll be like changed forever.
All right, I got some homework tonight.
Well, you know what, like, again, like we were talking about, like how everything kind of like feeds into influencing you, right? Um, one of our guitar players, who we were in a band together years ago, Frank, we had him for a little while. He was the guy that showed me who King's X was when we used to work together a long time ago. And he was just like, "You ever listen to King's X?" I'm like, "Who?" And he was like, "King's X." I'm like, "I have no idea what the fuck that." So he lent me this album called Dogman, and like the opening song is the title track, Dogman. I think I must have wore out his CD on that song. Like, I was just so taken with that song alone. Like, never mind the rest of the fucking album. The rest of the album, like, you get through it and you're just like the vocal harmonies, the guitar tones, the drumming arrangements, like just every 12-string basses. Like, the guy's crooning on top of like drop C. It's just beautiful, dude, right? But the opening song, Dogman, is just like, that is like one of the coolest songs I've ever heard in my life. I know there's a lot of songs out there, but that's just like one of the coolest songs I have ever heard in my life. Man. Like Dogman by King's X. Check out that album. It's so good.
Yeah,
So,
well, I have the world's worst memory, so as soon as we're done here, you gotta get on
I will
Messenger.
totally message you. Yes, yeah. I will totally do that on Messenger.
Because now I just gotta hear it. If you're hyping it up
dude.
that much, I gotta hear it.
Yeah, dude. And then my buddy, and then like one time we played a show. We were opening for Pat Travers. We were opening for Pat Travers.
Wow.
And yeah, we were opening for Pat Travers. There was a band called Rusted. That's a name drop and a half, right? I've also opened for Stu Ham and Alex Skolnick. And yet I sit here in my little cove of my music room talking to you. So, just all the name dropping. Yeah. But so we're doing that gig, and it was strange because there was a couple of people doing like a review of the show, and there was a French reporter who did a review of us. And his review was in English, but like, it's like no, it was in French. But like there was a French review of us, and like he actually said it's just like, it's just like I was surprised to hear these guys. Surprised to realize that they had something that reminded me of King's X. I was like, dude, that's like, wow. Okay, like, like, thank you. So King's X is one of those bands that, like, to anybody who's a fan of that band, should have been like monumentally bigger than what they are. They are respected, they are appreciated in the musician community. They are just like, dude, King's X is like just like, oh. But yeah, I will messenger you that album. You have like, you should listen to that, dude. Like you'll just crumble.
Sweet. So I know what I'm doing tonight.
Oh yeah. Are any of your questions about the Snyder Cut? Come on.
No. We don't want to spoil that yet for the people who haven't seen it. Me being one of them. I've yet to get my hands on that. And
no spoiler, but one stamp I will give. Like if it means anything coming from me, Leto Joker, redeem.
Wow. That's interesting because that's probably one of like my most hated DC characters to date has been Jared Leto's Joker. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Redeemed.
Cool.
Yeah, redeemed. Completely redeemed. But yeah, go on.
Ray,
okay.
If speaking of Jared Leto, he's one of those actors that I would just like to hit every once in a while. If you could choose one celebrity that you could fight, who would that be?
Well, it's not much fun now because he's not the president anymore. Like if you'd asked me, like if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I would have said him just because, like, we both know he can't.
That one, no, that answer doesn't count because every single person in the world right now would like to.
And that was my second point about that. But to be honest with you, I'd probably have to go with Jared Leto. And strictly, look, I think the guy is a phenomenal actor. He's a great actor. He really does. And again, like, fucking Snyder Cut scene, man, dude, redeemed. I'm just like, wow. And my wife hates it when I say this. I like him better than Joaquin Phoenix. Okay, I said it out loud. In 7 minutes. That's all I'm saying. He did that in 7 minutes. He's an uber talented musician. He's a great songwriter. Just don't like the dude. I just don't like him.
He's not a good dude. Didn't he like start his own like religion / cult?
Something like that. Also, like, I saw, like, I don't know if he was joking or whatever, but it didn't come off as, like, to me, especially like being a guy who's on a stage, and especially when you're doing the bar gig and like you have to find a way to deflect the whole, like, yo man, play Freebird. It's like you got to find a way to humbly and politely be like, fuck off. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm talking about. So, but like I saw footage of him on you. There's like a video of him where like he's playing in a small place, but like people are like looking up at the stage. It's like it's packed. People are just there to hear him play, and like they want to hear Capricorn, right? And he's just like, and he's like kind of playing the chords to it like he's gonna play it, and he's just like teasing people, but then he just like starts egging people on, and like versions on like, well, if I gotta play that for you, then he's gonna ask me for a song, and then I have to play that for him, and then like somebody else. It's like, oh no, people want to hear your songs. Sucks to be you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people with their
Yeah.
egos.
So like, to watch him in a movie, like, dude, he's a fantastic actor to like just listen to. And I can't do the music videos anymore because they all turn into like, 8-minute like Desert Storm movies for some weird ass reason or some shit. But like, dude, like, great singer, great songwriter, great music. His brother's a fantastic drummer. Like it's like he's got the full package. Like, he's uber pretty and he's uber talented. I can't take that away from him. I just don't like the dude. It's just like, when you see that or hear that about people that they, it's like, whoa. Okay.
I've asked this question to every one of my guests so far, and yours is by far like the most in-depth answer I've gotten, and I love it.
Well, it's not. Look, I do I don't know, man. It's like I don't know if it's an age difference thing. I don't know if it's just the way I was raised. I don't know if it's just the way I see the world. But it's like blindly hating something without, you know, cause to something is just like, well, you're just wasting energy for something. Like, if you're gonna waste energy hating something, at least like put some thought into it or something. Or like if you want to hit somebody, at least make it a valid point. It's just
Better
like,
have a
I'm not gonna take
reason.
it. That's all I'm saying. That's like it just that's all. Like it's like people ask me, it's like, like a band like Creed. It's like, no, I'm not a Creed fan. They got a couple of good songs that I will never say no to listening to because, like, man, they're fucking good songs. I don't like the rest of their catalog. You know what I mean? It's like I listened to it. I didn't like it. You know what I mean? I've watched Jared Leto in movies. I think he's a great actor. I've listened to his music. And then I went online to look at some of his live performances and I was just like, well, you suck. So especially in the live aspect of seeing the performance part, right? Because, like, I get it. He's fucking Jared Leto. He's super famous. His band writes great music. They're touring the world. I'm in a position where I know I write good music. I get great reviews. I don't get to tour the world. I don't. I'm one of many in the chain, in the struggle, in the ocean, in the pond, whatever we're supposed to be swimming or walking or politely bicycling to these days. I don't know what level we're at these days, but anyway, whatever we're veering towards, like getting to be able to have, a crowd looking up at me screaming like, dude, play that song. Fuck yeah, no problem, man. And like just rip into it. And like it's disheartening and it's a little heartbreaking even to like see like, millions of records sold. He even defied his own. Anyway, you know the whole thing with the Virgin record thing and whatever. But anyway, it's just like to be at that level and still be like, like, dude, man, that's somebody's paycheck that went into your pocket just to hear you sing that song.
Right.
Just sing the song. You know what I mean? And
No
it's
need
just
to
like
be an ass.
that's and that's why it's just like, and not even like fight him, just like just the one punch that just puts him down and be like,
Just that.
whatever. That's like just the salty like, like, oh, I'm good. Yeah.
Just put him in his place.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
That's how you tune a guitar, jackass.
Yeah. If you had one last message to give your fans or any future fans, why don't we lead off on that?
Oh man, message. Look,
Doesn't have to be
I don't
the
know.
most inspirational quote in the world. It could just be like, hey, man, buy my merch, check out my webpage.
You know what? Everybody knows where to find us. We got a .com like everybody has a .com. You got a website, we got a website. You got a Facebook, we got a Facebook. You know, you got an Instagram, we got an Instagram. TikTok and everybody else, we're working on it, I promise. We will be along with you shortly, everybody. But for the
Monday
time
Night
being,
Lives.
That's just Ray Howard. That's just this guy solo. Ray Howard on Facebook every second Monday. The Reefer, not the Rona. This Monday, I'm going to be doing a couple of songs that are all about ladies named Jane. Other than that, Vinyl Hero, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on our .com. As far as a message, if there's any T-shirts or whatever you'd like from us, you can PM us in our 8 p.m. Thanks, Nick. If there's any of our merch that you would actually be interested in purchasing, you can always hit us up on our messenger on Facebook or in our email. We're always happy to answer as often as we can. If not, thank you for everybody who keeps listening and joining in and digging the music and digging the band. You know, especially in these times, and I don't mean in like what's going on with like the whole I mean more like, you know, especially in the world, like, dude, when it comes to rock and roll, like, I don't give a shit what Gene Simmons says. It's nowhere near dead. It won't ever die because it just is. It will always is, and it is. You know what I'm saying? And also, I never set out to reinvent the wheel. I just hopefully give people a better wheel. I just want to give people the better wheel that's just, you know, better rock and roll. There's a lot of stuff that I like to call the Xerox or the fast food rock, and it's, well, you know, you listen to radio sometimes, so you know, but you know, I never, and I have no filter, so I'm sorry if anything I say gets you into trouble, and then fans, you can totally take it out on me later and just give me shit on Messenger or whatever.
Don't worry about it at all.
You know, like,
I'll just blame Ray.
Just delete it, or like, you know, like, and now listen to Mr. Black.
Andy God 66 would like to know if it's going to be a theme show on Monday.
Yes, it's all going to be. Yes, it's songs about ladies of Jane. I'm still working on the title, but it's going to be a whole bunch of songs that have like Jane or Janie or, you know.
All right, Ray, it was great.
That's the premise.
It was great having you on the show tonight. Thank you so much for coming on, telling everybody about your band, what you've been up to.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you very much.
Everybody, do not forget to go check out Vinyl Hero on YouTube, Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, all that jazz for their new single, Sledgehammer. I wish I had the song to play them off. Instead, I'm going to play them off with their last video, Vultures. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah. Take care. Thank you, Ray. Later, bud.
Suddenly, all the world's around the rise. Them broken hands and shifty plans is where they like to hide. Once it's said and once it's done, it might just be too late. Them prophecies are flying high, they want more than their gate. Won't you believe it's a lie? This was never learned up in time. Just to see it all fall. Wait around. Just to see it all fall. Wait around. you knew. The committed sits and so it stands, but whose dreams are coming true? Kettle souls once again, your ignorance is bliss. We're winding down and locked in tunes no one will ever miss. Would you believe it's a lie? Lessons they'll learn up in time, just to see it all fall. Wait around, just to see it all fall. You wait around, it all falls. Just to see